Good afternoon,
Good evening.
or whatever time you're listening.
And you're listening to
Listen very carefully. The podcast for people who love all things Allo Allo.
So, let's begin.
I'm Kim Hartman, and I played the part of Helga.
I'm Guy Siner, and I played Lieutenant Gruber.
And I am Richard Gibson and I played Herr Flick. 1, 2, 3.
That was so good. I thought that clap was absolutely
Very well
unison.
coordinated, wasn't
Best
it?
clap ever.
Yes.
Now, peasants, the reason we had to do that is that I forgot the clapperboard, as usual. However, by way of compensation, I'm wearing my Christmas present, which is my hat that Kimmy gave us each one. A listen very carefully cap.
So now, whose turn is it to start with?
Welcome to my kitchen.
Welcome.
There
to
we are.
Kim's
I've
kitchen.
started.
Welcome, peasants, and this is episode.
No.
Series 3, episode 5. And I don't know what it's called.
Podcast number 52, and it's called Down the Drain.
Aha! And it's actually the penultimate one of the whole of the very long series 5.
Indeed.
So we've only got one more episode to go after this, and that's the end of series 5.
Of the long series that we made. At
So the
Boreham
town
Wood.
square that we just saw was in the studio in Boreham Wood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after that, they'll all be back in Linford Hall again, I guess.
I imagine we are. Do you know, it was so long ago, I can't
yes.
remember. We'll soon find out, won't we, when we come to. I think series 6. We shouldn't talk about one.
You're getting boring already.
Yeah, I know. I'll shut up. But I do think series 6 is my favourite of all of them. But that's another story because
Is
we're
that-
not there yet.
You're talking about another episode we haven't just watched that you like best. It's not exactly going to...
This episode was all right, wasn't it?
This episode was wonderful, and it was especially good for me, and I liked it an awful lot because I was in it and you weren't.
That's correct. Neither of us.
But worse than that, we've discovered we don't get paid. Even though we played the scenes, they were then cut. We were in the bit at the end.
So you got paid for it, but you don't get repeats.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah.
we got our original studio fee, but nothing else. Why are you looking?
I'm just wondering if you might move just a tiny bit to your right.
No.
All right then. You can tell who's the governor around here, can't you? That's it.
There we are.
I think that's probably good, isn't it? Are we evenly spaced?
Are we evenly spaced?
Evenly enough. You can mess about with it in the edit.
Any observations on this, anyone?
Well, it was written by Ronald Wolfe and Ronald Chesney.
Okay, here's a quiz question. What have they written before?
On the buses.
Yep,
The Rag Trade.
yep. Meet the Wife.
Meet the Wife.
These were 1960s and 70s quality sitcoms, weren't they? And don't look at me like that.
You liked them or you didn't, but they were very popular.
Oh yeah, I actually did
On the
quite...
buses was huge.
Well, earlier Kim was saying that she didn't think it was very funny, but I was saying that when I was young and I watched it, I just thought it was full of boring middle-aged people.
Which it was.
And then when I watched it again, it was actually quite funny. And
But that's because you have now become a boring middle-aged
that's exactly my
Exactly right. But no, it was very, very popular.
But well structured. I mean,
Yes.
with these, it must be impossibly difficult to write from something that's been such a big hit with two of the world's expert comedy writers.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Because you have structure, character and dialogue, and they're
And there are certain
very...
tropes which you are really required to follow.
Yeah.
So you have to write certain tropes, certain
But
gags.
they seem to have forgotten about Flick and Helga. That little
I think it
duo.
was worse than that. I think the director forgot about Flick and Helga soon after he'd cut them from the scene.
It would be interesting to know now what the scene was that they cut.
Well, I know.
And was it really that bad? Were you really that awful that
Did
they
you
had
hear
to
what
cut
he
them?
just said?
I know that the scene, because I was cut before you were, because you were still in it, because you had 2 scenes in this episode and I had 1 scene, and my 1 scene was with you.
And your one scene was cut, and his both scenes were cut.
No, but only one of his scenes was cut for a long time, so I don't know why now the other one's been cut. Because the other one was with Von Smallhouse.
Are you saying when it went out, we were in, but
You were in the first one.
No, but are you saying when it was first on telly, we were actually in the scenes?
You were,
And
but
then
I
they,
wasn't.
Since then, as they put the DVDs together, they cut us out.
Well, they cut you out. They'd already cut me out. They cut me out.
So you
I
are
was-
getting repeats. You must be getting repeats then.
Yeah, but
If
I'm
you
not.
were in the original broadcast, but you're not, but we don't care.
No, I cared a bit
Of
at the
course you
time, I have
I
to
didn't
say.
know.
Especially because it's one of those awful things when you watch something and you go,
I
right,
mean,
my bit's coming up
this
now.
This is
And
the
then
funny bit where I come on,
Yeah.
and then you don't.
But
That's
also,
right.
you were feeling a bit insecure in those days because they quite liked the sort of Flick and Von Smallhouse and the mini-me thing. And
Yes.
some scenes that you would otherwise have been playing with me, I was now playing with Von Smallhausen.
Oh yeah, but
But I also said, don't be such an ungrateful git, because you have all those scenes with the Colonel and the Captain and Gruber and everything else.
and Von
Exactly.
Klinkerhofen.
So
So
it
in
sort
fact,
of serves you right in a way, doesn't it?
It
all-
really does.
It worked out all right for me until this episode came along, when I was supposed to have a ship tattooed on my stomach, and I had to do a strip with you playing a violin and reveal my stomach, and there was this ship tattoo on it. But actually, and this was partly my fault, the ship tattoo wasn't very good. But
It was a
when
bit shit.
it was very ship. But when it was done, I just went, oh yeah, that's lovely, because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
You're being nice to your makeup girl.
But it didn't actually look like a tattoo, it just looked like a sort of watercolour.
That's probably why they cut you.
Right.
It wasn't funny. Oh, and this is why, of course, you explained that you were dancing to the fiddle played by Richard. This is why in the credits you were shown playing the violin.
Yeah, and I was shown stripping.
Did we ever see your belly button? I mean, the ship
You
on your belly
did,
button.
you did. Well, the editor would have seen it before it was cut, before it was tossed
Right.
unceremoniously onto the
And
cutting room floor.
unfeelingly onto the cutting room floor.
I love the way you're still smarting about it.
Bitter.
40 years later.
Bitter and twisted.
And I'm still laughing.
I know, smugly laughing.
Smugly.
And worse than that, you actually got some funny lines as well, which
I
was
actually-
quite
I
It
painful.
was. There were quite a few funny lines, I have to say.
It
It was
was
rather a
painful.
funny episode, actually.
It was, considering it wasn't written by Jeremy and David. It really did hit the mark.
But it was very much based in the French cafe, wasn't it? It was all about all the French characters. There was a tiny bit of Gruber, a tiny bit of the Colonel, and that was it.
Yes.
And the
It's
rest.
actually quite a lot of Gruber, wasn't there?
Rather too much. Some
Rather too much. But I mean, this is perhaps why they cut you, because they wanted it to be about the French. I'm only just
No, I bet you it was
suggesting that might have been the reason.
No, I reckon
that you
it's
were unceremoniously cut.
because it was for America. They probably had to have exact timing to the last second.
Yeah.
Could be.
And it might have been that those were in a block and they could just be lifted out without changing the story at all.
But all these ones that were done in series 5, 26 episodes, they were all shorter than any of the others had
Yeah.
been. They were like 23
Because they were made for the American market.
To make room for the adverts in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
You did know when Crabtree came in, they were going to make hay with that,
Oh
didn't you?
gosh, and they did, didn't they?
Yes.
Hell
And
yeah.
you knew that there would be a sort of listen very carefully joke from Michelle. And she didn't say, I shall say this only once.
She didn't.
And nobody commented on it.
I didn't notice that.
She said, listen very carefully, we haven't got much time, or something of that kind.
Ah,
And the episode was all about, it's called Down the Drain, as we told you at the beginning, and it's all about trying to get an enigma machine, which had somehow come into their possession, down the drain into the town sewer and flushed out into the sea, where a British mini sub would be waiting to grab it and take it back to England.
That's right.
it was going to be put in a wine barrel, wasn't it?
It was put
And
in
then-
a wine barrel,
flushed
yes.
out,
Or
yeah.
that was the idea.
But when we saw the town square, as soon as we saw it, I thought, I don't remember there being sort of banks or rubble
I said I thought it was Linford Hall because it did look exterior to me.
Yes.
You immediately corrected me. But
because
I
of the
thought-
sound quality.
Right.
But it became clear why it had this bank, because when they had to drop people down it, you
Yes.
couldn't just drop them onto a concrete floor.
No.
So you had to
course.
build it up special.
Of
Ah,
course.
yeah.
So-
What about Fanny's bedroom? That was a fairly classic sort of Fanny's bedroom scene.
Fanny went a bit mad with her knitting, didn't she? With her.
She did.
I can't get the knitting needles
Oh,
right.
throwing the
That
wool.
was
Yeah.
a running joke, wasn't it?
It
Throwing
was a
the
running
wool.
joke, but I've never seen her do it quite to that extent before.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you notice that it's the same knitting she's had since the pilot?
Oh,
And she's only done 12 rows. In fact,
I'm sad that'll be like me.
nearly 10 years she's done 12 rows. And there was one bit where you had to put your hand underneath the bedclothes, and
Yes.
there was going to be some humour there, wasn't there?
There was indeed.
Looking for the enigma machine. Monsieur Leclerc did some excellent drunk acting, I thought.
Oh yes.
He did. He did.
Yes.
That was very funny.
It was so
And
over the top, but absolutely hysterical.
way over the top, and it was quite believable that he had got so paralytically
Yes.
drunk that he had substituted Rene's running away suitcase for the enigma machine and put the case into the barrel instead of the enigma machine, and so that would have been sent to England.
And the case was all full of women's underwear that was supposed to be for Yvette to
Yvette's-
wear
Yvette's-
in Switzerland when she went off with
Yvette's
Rene.
honeymoon underwear.
Yes. So by the time this suitcase arrived, British intelligence said, I could just imagine the look on their faces when they open it up. And Rene says, so can I.
But then somebody said, was it Rene who said, oh, never mind, they're used to that sort of thing in British intelligence.
Is this the first time that Monsieur Alphonse has talked about his tricky truss? Because he's always talked about his dicky ticker up to
Yes.
now, hasn't he?
Yes.
And was this the first time, was this an invention of Ronald Wolfe and Ronald
I
Chesney?
Don't think so.
It rang a bell with me. I
Did
had a
it?
feeling
I
it
think
had
he-
been there
It
before.
had
I
been
think it
done
had been
before.
there
It's
before.
very funny.
But
Yeah.
it was lovely because different girls kept taking off
Yes.
their dressing gowns and showing their nightdress.
Yeah,
And every time one did, he had another reaction.
yeah.
Oh, the payoff was when he lowered Mimi he was holding onto her dry suit and he pulled it up and she'd fallen out of it.
Yeah.
So when he then looked down into the sewer, there was
Oh, my
Mimi,
tricky truss.
Mimi with not very much on.
Oh, very funny.
Oh, I'll tell you something that tickled me a bit, which is a sort of sitcom trope, and you get it in all kinds of things. When Michelle of the Resistance came in with blonde hair, nobody knew who she was.
Oh, I
yes,
know.
she was in a blonde wig, but she was in a veil.
Yes.
But it was
because
such a fine veil.
It was
wasn't
such a fine veil, which of course is, it had to be so that the audience knew who she was. But the characters were allowed not to know who she was because she
Yes.
was in a veil.
Yes.
And when she finally introduced herself to them quietly behind the scenes, she raised her veil and said, "It is I, Michelle," which was a kind of copy of the Jack Hay character, of course.
First time I've ever seen her in a really bright colour like that, in a bright red coat instead of her
Yes.
usual
And,
gabardine trench
and a
coat.
bright blonde wig instead of her dark hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was well in disguise. It's no wonder they didn't recognise her. Cuckoo clock, did we like that?
We loved the cuckoo clock. It made me think how wonderful in those days the BBC special effects department were. You could tell them to do anything,
Yes.
including make an avocado prawns fly across the cafeteria.
Yeah. And make Flick's stick stand up on its own. But as soon as he said, it's made the cuckoo work overtime and it's affected his voice. You
Yeah.
knew you were in for something,
You
didn't
did.
you?
You knew.
And it came out with and then collapsed. I did enjoy that.
Oh, I do love it. It's such silly humour, isn't it? And that's what's really tickling.
Yes.
It's why it still works. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
wonderfully silly.
And it's another animal joke, isn't it? Even though it's not David
cuckoo.
Croft. Yes.
You mean, yeah,
It's
yeah,
a sort of laughing at animals thing, comedy animals.
yeah.
I've lost my cup of tea.
You can have a sip of mine if you
No, I
like.
don't want to. It's
Where-
been contaminated by your filthy lips.
Where have you?
You're still about 11, aren't you?
and she's still very stewing about having been cut out of this episode.
Yeah,
So
maybe
she's-
her jokes were just too childish and they cut them all out.
Could be. So she's going to make sort of vicious barbs all afternoon.
Found it. Cheers.
I want,
Cheers.
I want,
Oh, I want a nice.
more.
The great thing about
Cheers.
coming in here is you get mild wine, prosecco thing. But the trouble is, we're both driving today. 'cause
We
we're
both have to
only
drive
going
home.
Yes,
We
and
just-
no gin.
I like a nice cup of tea in the morning, for to start the day you see. And at 11:30.
Swear.
I must tell you, I've discovered an excellent gin. I haven't drunk any of it yet, actually, but it's called Mother's Ruin. The name of the place that produces it is Mother's Ruin Distilleries, and they're based in Cornwall, and they make rum and they make gin.
Do you think we need a road trip to this?
I think we do.
Now, I noticed something that I rather enjoyed. Mimi came into the back room in an early scene, and when she closed the door, as they so often do, the door sort of bounced and
Bounced.
opened a crack. So in this framing, there was this white light. I don't understand why she's laughing.
Carry on.
It opened a crack, and they I didn't start this.
Yeah,
Well, I sort of did.
she did. She started it.
So, there was a white line because of the light from the cafe where the door wasn't quite open. When they cut away, by the time they came back,
It had been shut.
the camera person had just tightened the shot slightly so that you couldn't see.
Oh, right.
So you just didn't see the edge of the door frame. Camera craft.
Yes.
Camera craft.
I enjoyed that.
I noticed as we were watching it back, and as she entered and shut the door and it bounced open, and you said, "Shut the door,"
Well, on
as
stage
if
you
you,
definitely
as if you
would
were
shut-
giving her a note.
Yes, shut the door.
After all these years.
Yes, exactly. But that's what you do generally, isn't it? But by that time she was looking the other way, so
Oh yeah,
she
she'd
couldn't
gone.
see the
She'd
But we
door.
didn't know that the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd been and gone.
Yes.
Was on to the next thing. Yes.
Yes.
And it does happen, and doors are notoriously difficult on stage.
Oh.
They're always misbehaving, aren't they?
Shut that door, it's freezing cold in here. Shut that door, I'm feeling rather queer. I haven't felt myself all day, 'cause I've been all alone. So come inside and shut that door and make yourself at home.
And did we mention Richard Bowden, who directed?
No, we didn't.
And who has directed, what, he directed about 6, didn't
Seven.
he? 7.
Yeah.
7.
I thought he directed more than that. It's funny.
Well, we said this, but then we looked it up on Wikipedia episodes, and it said he only did 7.
Oh, right. Okay.
And
yeah.
even did an Apple F with his name in to see if it would.
An Apple F.
On the
Find,
computer, if you do Command, which used to be called the Apple key,
Yeah.
on F,
which
that's
is fine.
Find.
Oh, is it? I don't know any of these things.
I love that. Do you know how to do copy and paste?
I've only just learnt. Yes.
That's
yes.
brilliant. I love that. Welcome to the 2020s. I love that. Can you cut? Do you know how to cut things?
I know how to. Oh, it's cutting. I can do. I can cut and paste. I don't
Yeah.
think I can
Control
copy
X.
and paste.
Oh well, it's
on a
something.
proper computer. Control X.
That's brilliant. I love it though. That's sort of innocent. Because you probably go up to the menu, don't you, and do it that way
Yeah.
normally. That's all right. Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
either way is good. You don't have to use the, what do they call them? The
Keystrokes.
Your
something
brain.
key, something
Brain.
key.
Keystrokes. It might be different on those PCs.
Proper computers.
PCs
Yes,
and
yes.
Android.
Well, I think that's about it, don't you, for this particular episode? Only one more in Series 5 to go.
They've suffered enough. Is it time we went?
Yeah, I think so. So thank you. Thank you very much for being with us in my kitchen.
Thank you, peasants. It's
Yes.
been wonderful to see you again.
Hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have. And we'll see you next time, won't we?
And if you are listening to this, don't forget to like it, follow us,
On YouTube.
subscribe on YouTube,
Oh yes.
everything you can to help with our
constantly.
numbers.
What are those things to help something which I don't understand called an algorithm?
Now you see, he doesn't understand this just because I don't understand about copying and pasting. That's a completely different matter.
I've no
isn't
idea
it?
what an
It's quite-
algorithm is.
Analog, isn't it? That's what kids used to say to me. Dad, you're so analog.
yes, analog.
So anyway, a bit of following, subscribing, whatever would be brilliant. We'll love you for it.
And one more thing. If you have any questions or answers or anything you'd like to tell us or ask us, you know what it is?
Pod
At
Helga.
Gruber
Flick.
.com. That's pod at helgagruberflick.com. Bye, peasants.
Bye.
So, if you have any questions,
For answers,
Or stories. Or
Kim,
Guy.
or Richard,
contact us on
Pod at
Helga.
Gruber.
Flick.
.com. That's pod at helgagruberflick.com.